Well, hello there everybody and welcome back again, starting out at the public section of the Luisenpark here, walking our way slowly but surely in here. And we have a few statues here that will be greeting us here at this moment. The first one here is named for Ludwig Frank. He fell at the 3rd of September 1914, so this is overall a memorial for all the victims of the First World War. And a memorial statue for this. So one name in example for all of them here. And this is just a representation of that, a representation of statue here. And I know we may have a few more on our way as we continue. This huge public ground that you all here seeing at this moment is still part of the entrance area, also known as the Lower Luisenpark, the Upper Luisenpark area, before we actually come to the entrance. And if you can see, enough space literally for every man and every dog. Still a huge area here of the public section of the Lower Luisenpark. Recreational equipment way back in the back of this section right there. And still a lot of green works, playgrounds. And as we are already approaching in the distance, a very unique specialty, something which you all have already seen the history at the Streetcars Transportation Museum when we were talking about the Airbus. And here's my big fave of them all, the Fernsehturm, the TV telecommunication tower, which gives us a unique view from this part of the park. He actually will be inside and also accessible from the outside as well. And of course we do have that on our list later on. Getting a little bit closer. This little sports section of the park, developed by the city of Mannheim here, we'll have a few restrictions there for you. Well, what used to be an entrance gate with a ticket booth and cashier turned out to be had now been removed, and no entrance possible until we get a little bit around, so it'll turn into a little discovery here for us. Well, it also leads us to the whole thing in its entirety, in its whole beauty, as we are still trying to get into the main park. And as we know, there is definitely the entrance here at the Fernsehturm over the radio tower, which goes partially in and partially out, both sides accessible. And on the left, of course, we do have the everlasting stops for our streetcars. It also will stop right in front of here, which I believe that will be the number 5. Yep. Same entrance as for this little guy right here. Plenty of bikes to exercise with, or maybe not at all. Alrighty, made it in with the green and nothing but the green to it and nothing to it for us. And for those who need to have a little plan, there's nothing but a plan for us right here. We got the entrance right over here. There's the Tram Road International, our Neckar River. We entered here from this side over there. And this will be the map in its entirety right there. And if you actually end up getting a ticket, it'll definitely will look like this. €12.50 will get you all access. There are a couple deals for discounters. And 50 years of flower power. Yep, that's what we're talking about. As this expansion already has gotten its 50th anniversary there, so I slightly remember when it all got started in its first expensive project. Looks like they have expanded to the whole thing so much, they even got their own little transportation bus line around the park with stop points, departure and arrivals. What do you know? And one thing I have not seen yet, we're looking forward to, will the actual addition of a real Chinese garden. Okay, let's do it to it. Oh, they're coming into a first little garden section, uniquely bordered between those little sections of bushes. Has a little Baroque Renaissance flair to it, and tons of flowers which were just actually in the starting section here. Well, a unique structure in its own kind. Somebody definitely got a lot of hair right there. A unique guy, and happens to be even the same name as me. Another one in the Martin Club, and it's Haar Wash Ender. Well, the ending of a hair wash. How creative is that? 1969, 1992. Unique statue, but it deserved its own statue and fountain for doing something with hair right there. And another unique sculptures right between the flowers right there. And yep, this unique thing will greet you as a nice little fenced-in garden. Still overlooked by Mannheim's tallest building. Definitely somebody has an ear right there. And also because of the unique climate and sources and grounds that has been maintained, you really already see that some flowers and bushes are having some unique sources from some tropical backgrounds. So definitely one thing unique, you always find description explanations also of adopted parents of some plants and bushes and trees and flowers, and as there happen to be plenty of it. silly, ain't she? So it happened to be this tree. Reminds us like with some little tour we had at the Vogelstang Lake with plenty of new trees. That's of course a separate video in its entirety over here, where I went ahead and translated every name that came across from every bush and tree. And here we see a traditional installment that's already been in place for quite a long time now, 1975 during the Bundesgartenschau, the Federal Garden Exhibition, I guess we would call it. Made it happen that we had little gondolettas, those little tiny boats here, floating around all through the park wherever we do have water, and there is plenty of it. And we also happen to have a unique breed of some geese. Definitely not as shy as what you normally would expect. And most of the time little ducks also know what is coming at them. And yep, you see right, there's some huge fishes actually swimming here below. Almost call them like little sharks here that you can see coming up to the boats. As we see them right here. And they're not afraid to take in a picture. Everybody knows when we're showing up, it's feeding season. Now how often did that happen? That your big fish showed right up for the dinner plate. But the local rule says you can't touch this. And here already comes his little running buddy. Just about as big as the other guy. Nope, actually even bigger. If you can all make this up. Yep, huge fishes. Come on, come a little closer. Show your faces. No worries, fish number 3. Although we are coming from a fishing community here, but ain't nothing happening here. Alright, we have a total now 4 fishes. Everybody. 4 fishes, 4 little bitty petlings, but I guess I already fooled them enough, not having anything yummy in my pocket. As I already went by a couple of times, I just noticed, got us a little turtle buddy there on the rock, surrounded by the water, taking a little sun bath. Highly unique. First I thought this might have been a little statue, but no, he's actually right on in it to win it. Sunbathing, moving his little head here and there, and surrounded by his fishing buddy. So yeah, park for everybody, park for everyone. So, let the adventure begin. And for those people who just want to try out a different type of adventure, there happened to be an all-accessible second opportunity with a different type of bridge. Yeah. Alrighty. We'll still get to see a whole bunch of good times. On to the Chinese garden it goes. Oh, how cool is that? That seemed to be representative of the local species. Oh, cool. So it's also very interesting, even if you're running around with the blindfolds on, there is a language spoken for you for that. And if you happen to want to go along this path, this is your hand and barefoot path. So I'm not quite sure barefoot I can see, but how do you know with hand? Well, probably for our blind friends. Well, if I would have not known better, it would have hit me like a brick. Something totally new that I have not seen yet. The last time I've been here is now really over 30 years ago. I left at 29 years of time frames. But this is now the Chinese garden section of our Luisenpark. In recent years been added into it. And as we don't have enough Chinese things already around yet, this will take care of your final appetite. Well, also for our English-speaking friends, there is something out of the Chinese translation here, which looks like a city of Mannheim was the one that got it in order, and it was done in cooperation with Qingyang, which we know is a very huge city in China. And the construction was in November of 2000, so barely missed that party, and it was finished in September 2001. And also for our Chinese-speaking friends, there is the translation below. And I'm giving you now the grand entrance. And there's nothing else to do it but to do it. Okay. Old tradition has it, of course. You have to have your little local creeks and rivers be able to be crossed by bridges. And I guess we're looking here at some type of a restaurant for those in need of an urgent dragon noodle soup. Not bad with the prices. All right, no entrance. And this now I'm assuming also Chinese imported and planted flowers. Probably a bunch of orchids in here that will be greeting us. And now this path that we just earlier came by is what I'm bringing you around now. And I guess we would need some serious translator on aisle 1. And I guess this sort of kind of represents a, if you look in the inside, a little family style house gathering. I'm not quite sure if they allow us to go in. Nope, I'm probably going to set off some local alarm, made in China, obviously. So, multiple gathering, a local eatery. There's an additional path. All right, a chameleon garden. And this one will take us also into the International Camellia Society Garden of Excellence. So I'm just going to be browsing through. And there are a few people to be thankful for, probably some sponsors. We also have some little bitty Chinese words of wisdom here, from German into Chinese. A statue of Margarete Egger, which eventually had some influence about this whole construction here of this Chinese garden in Mannheim. surrounded by a definite ancient type hanging trees, a little local waterfall. And we're entering into a hall which shows us a lot of typical representations of those lanterns. Which are typical Chinese village engraving into the background there. And this is obviously a representation and engraving from the city of Changshudan. Guess a little medium-sized town back there in good old China. Oh. And we do have a little terracotta warrior, which is a gift from Herbert and Martel Romer from Heidelberg, which is of course a copy impression. But you all know with this ancient emperor who was buried with thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of original type style warriors. And wow, it is just almost like a little maze of beauty, and some more sponsors and people who made this thing possible. The Chinese garden with the attached tea house, and opened in 2001, and list were of sponsors. Sis, right ahead along with those Chinese lanterns, little hallway, walkway. And my God, this little garden is just almost a village within a village. And because of its style, these little entrances always refer to themselves as dragon gates. And for those who want to take a chance and sit down, relax, those own made pavilions right next to some awesome flowers, while your kids taking advantage of this nice huge little playground there to the right. And just everything is there, almost nothing is mission impossible. Yeah, done. As we are approaching now a few little shades here, we already see in the distance another little specialty of our nice park here in Luisenpark in Mannheim, which is now added in a more famous item to it. So bringing you from the Chinese garden to the little China village now, another little treasure, which is a little farm. Which see quite a unique types of animals there. Mini ponies. And a nice interesting couple of goats, which one on the left happened to be a little more stubborn than the other one. And right opposite from our goats and geese and everything walks and crawls, we have a little muddy playground. This will definitely put every unique bleach and cleaning powder to the ultimate test. If you pass this one here, then you've done a great job. And coming to the actual origin here, it is a Swedish going goats, whatever, that going referring to Swedish origins. And let's just see what the entrance got going for us. A little close up to the farm. Well, according to the local information, this is a Coburger Fuchsschaf, a fox sheep. Well, can't blame them with those ears they got. And you'll be able to tell we're just about to pass nap time. Definitely clocked out. We do have us a little access to some local cows. Must be definitely some yummy stuff. Yep, agreed. And we got us also this little info board showing us another unique species here of sackle sheep. The only way I can do that. Up to the Hungarian wool pig and to a Waliser black neck goat. If I got that right. Schwarzhalsziege, black neck goat. Well, they exist as well. This would have been kind of like those cows that we've seen inside there. Definitely busy with some yummy stuff. And this would be their playground there. Well, everybody, this happened to be all around your ears. Similar to something we've probably already seen before in our good old resort park in Bad Wildungen, where at one point in time, if y'all remember, you holler into one tube and it comes out the other. After you cross over to this little jungle, Here is where you get in, and this is where you come out. But this time it's all about the part of the almighty Soundpark as we approach in the almighty ear. And too bad we don't have our local fellas in here, but at one point in time you play your instrument, which is called the Soundless Stones, which is called the Sounds Stepping Stones or the Sound Stone Steps. And we're just gonna see if we get us a little example of how this whole thing's supposed to sound, since I don't get anybody to play with me here. See, we have different notes as we go up the steps. You see, you'll be able to create some real interesting tribal sounds here. Don't get much out of my remembrance of local tunes, but this was rather a show of a Looney Tune. Let's see what the next one sounds like. More interesting will be the wrestling sticks. And do we have some sort of a wheel here? Uh-huh. This must be the fine tuner. We'll see, we got us and this, everybody, is how it eventually could sound like if the stick happened to be in the right hands. And there is something tuney with this frog. Oh well, sounds to me a little bit numb and dumb. Didn't get it after all. You plug in the fingers with the notes and kind of like ruffle your way above to the back. There we go, everybody. Departing now, a wooden orchestra, the part of the wooden sounds of Music City, Mannheim.